welcome to a new video from Momentum 3.0. Bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo de Momentum 3.0. Voy a hablar en inglés, Hogan va a hablar en inglés, we will talk in English, and tomorrow, mañana, vais a tener el resumen en español, the highlights en español. Por favor, suscribiros si no estáis suscritos, and then if you talk English, fine, you will hear it, and you can also, también puedes activar los subtítulos. Okay, let's jump into the video. Here we are with Jeremy Hogan, the most famous attorney in YouTube, maybe, right now, thanks to XRP and the Ripple versus SEC case. Let's start with some questions, okay? The first thing, the most important thing today is, how are you today, Jeremy Hogan?
I'm great, Adrian, and thank you so much for having me on. I look forward to talking to you, and I appreciate the introduction. And someday, I hope to get out to Spain to visit you.
Perfect. That's wonderful. We were talking about my city, that is Salamanca, is close to Madrid. We don't have the beach, but we have wonderful views, and yeah, we are close to Portugal, which is favorable for crypto, for taxes. Okay, it's wonderful for taxes. So we may meet here or in Madrid, wherever you want. Okay. So
sounds like a plan.
Let's start with the first question. That can you explain in a nutshell what is the Ripple versus SEC case about?
Sure. So as you might know, Ripple started back in 2012 or 2013, as a company. And their focus, the business's focus, was on the token or the coin XRP. So a lot of people think of Ripple and XRP as being the same, but XRP would be the coin and Ripple would be the company that is, figuring out the use cases and making use of the XRP coin. Well, back in 2013, Ripple, there was a set number of coins that were released. I think it was 100 billion coins of XRP. Ripple kept most of them and have been selling them. Some of them were sold early on. Some of them were kept by the company, and they're currently in an escrow being released. In December of last year, December 2020, the SEC sued Ripple, claiming that the sale of the XRP coins was the sale of a security. Now, in America, if you sell what's called a security, which securities, generally speaking, in the past, you think of stocks. You buy a part of a company. That's a stock. That's a security. Now, I don't know how it is in Spain, but in America, the SEC has been around since the 1930s. And the SEC's job is to make sure that when a company sells a stock or a piece of the company, that they give a lot of disclosures to the people who are buying the part of the company. So they have to file papers with the SEC, the company has to file papers with the SEC, has to tell them, has to disclose all the things that are going on with the company so that the purchasers of the company can make an informed decision and they're not subject to being lied to or said, hey, our company's great, we're making a lot of money, when the truth is they're not making a lot of money. So the SEC is supposed to kind of keep an eye on companies that are selling stock and part of their company in order to make sure that the purchasers are given full disclosure about what's going on in the company. It's to protect the purchasers. So the lawsuit by the SEC basically is saying that the sale of XRP by Ripple was the sale of a security, not a sale of a currency. And therefore they were supposed to disclose all these things and they didn't. So it's the basis of the lawsuit is that there was unregistered sales of security. And in America, that's illegal if you're selling the security. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's nice to get the big picture of this, because we have been following your channel. I have been talking with my people through Telegram about it, and it was like, we are updated, but we needed to have that background and see the whole picture to understand the case, or
Yeah,
how
I
does
think.
it impact us as XRP holders or potential holders.
Yeah. I don't know. Do they have? I don't mean to interview you, but Adrian, do they have something similar to that in Spain? Do they have uh, like a government entity that protects purchasers of stock in a company? Do you know?
Yeah, I
Just
have
curious.
been talking with them, and they told me that XRP is not a security, it's a currency.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
that
important.
and that is what most countries have decided. That is Japan. I think Japan or
Yeah.
Spain. Apparently, a lot of other countries have already kind of made that determination.
Yeah. In Spain, it is called CNMV or CNMV, and they do the same thing. But right now in Spain, you can purchase XRP and you don't need like a broker or anything like that. But it may be important for us to know if we can do anything because of the harm caused by the SEC. Like, I am in Spain and the SEC did what they did. And the question is, can we do something, or do we have to wait, or what is the situation there?
Well, as of right now, there's currently ongoing litigation, of course, between the SEC and Ripple, and that's what I've been talking about the last 2 or 3 months on our YouTube channel a lot, right? So I think any action by private individuals would be a little bit, it'd be too soon probably. If Ripple was to win the lawsuit, which I think it is going to, but if Ripple does win the lawsuit, I think there might be action that you could possibly take against SEC. The problem is if SEC was to win the lawsuit, then obviously they were in the right this whole time, and I don't know if there'd be any legal action that you could take. There is an attorney. His last name is Deaton, Deaton, and
Yeah, he
you
was
probably
in
have
the
heard of
channel.
him.
He was in the channel.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've already interviewed. Yeah, I think he has a lawsuit that's kind of pending, um,
Yeah.
and it is against SEC. Those lawsuits are very difficult here because we have a concept called sovereign immunity, and there's also some protections against government entities from litigation. We inherited that law from England. It's a kind of English common law concept. Sovereign immunity meaning you cannot sue the king. You might have that in Spain too, because there's a king, right? In Spain, you have a monarchy in the past.
We
So
have one king, and
you have okay,
the
okay,
other, which is in Dubai, who is in Dubai.
gotcha,
He is no longer the king, and his son is the king.
gotcha. Well, we have a concept that we inherited kind of from that principle, which is you can't sue the king, and so we do have that in America. So lawsuits against government entities are very difficult. It's very difficult to sue them. I think that there might be something there if Ripple wins, there might be something there. But of course, if Ripple loses and the SEC wins, I don't think you'd have much of a viable argument because the judicial system has already determined that the SEC was correct.
Okay, let's talk about the potential scenarios, which is the style of the channel. Like, talk about the worst case scenario, the best case scenario, if there is any gray between them.
Sure. So right now we're very early in the litigation, so any potential outcome is possible. Starting with the worst case scenario, when I was analyzing the worst case scenario, I did a vlog a couple weeks ago. I looked at a case that was called the Kick Interactive case, and I don't know if you'd heard of it before, but it was kind of the most recent and most high-profile crypto case where the SEC had basically charged Kick Interactive company with the same thing that they charged Ripple with. And I looked at what the outcome from that was, and I applied it to the Ripple situation. Here's basically what happened with Kick Interactive is two things. There was a large fine that Kick Interactive had to pay. As soon as they got sued by the SEC, the price of the Kick Interactive coin went down, very similar to XRP. And outside of the fine, there was also a provision in the judgment against Kick Interactive that they couldn't violate the SEC rules again. And also that if they were going to move forward with any further sales of their coin, they would have to basically do it as a registered, they'd have to file what's called a D form, which is basically a form they'd have to file something with the SEC and give them notice. Hey, we're going to sell these coins. This is who we're going to sell it to. And they had to sell it to kind of sophisticated purchasers. That was kind of the punishment, but that was kind of the punishment. So they wouldn't be able to sell it to you and me because we wouldn't qualify as sophisticated purchaser. For myself, I admit I'm not a sophisticated purchaser, but they'd be allowed to only sell the coin to big companies, big investors with a lot of money. The idea being that these guys didn't need all these disclosures because they had the ability and the knowledge to do their own research. So I looked at that and I said, that's the worst case scenario. And Ripple still has about 60% of the XRP in escrow, I believe. So what would be if that's the worst case scenario, how bad would that be for Ripple? Would it be able to survive, the company? And if they weren't able to survive and they had to move to Spain or Japan, because Ripple has talked about that in the past, would they be able to continue their business? And that's when I got a little bit outside of the legal world when I was doing that analysis. But I do believe, from what I talked to a lot of people and I did my own research, my conclusion was basically that even in a worst case scenario where Ripple is hit with a judgment like Kick Interactive was hit with, Ripple would be able to survive. They would continue to be able to make use of the software they're developing and XRP. And although it wouldn't be good, I didn't think it was going to be kind of the killing blow for XRP, even in the worst case scenario. So that was kind of how I came to that conclusion. Now, there's all different sorts of possibilities here because, of course, most of these cases settle. In my practice, 99% of my cases, 98% of my cases settle at some point. Okay, I'm a trial lawyer, but I only try 1 or 2 cases a year because so many cases are able to resolve. Now, sometimes there's a specific situation, or it's very rare that you cannot come to some sort of resolution if both parties want to. The SEC is a little bit different because it's a government entity. It doesn't have the kind of pressures that a private entity will have on it. For example, if a private lawyer takes a case to trial and loses, that could be a big deal for them. We lose clients, we get in trouble. If an insurance company's lawyer, for example, takes a big case to trial and they lose a large amount of money, the insurance company is going to the lawyer saying, why did you try that case? Why did you lose us all that money? There's a lot of pressure. I don't believe that the SEC lawyers have that same pressure on them, or the SEC in general, because it's kind of government money. So you can imagine it's not that kind of pressure on you. So that's one reason why this case may go all the way to trial. But I think, and I still think that there's going to be a settlement in this case. Now, what that settlement looks like, I don't know. But this is my best guess, and I would say that there would be some kind of fine imposed. I don't think that you would have a designation as a security like people think there might be. I don't think that Ripple would settle if that's going to be the case, because I think Ripple thinks it has a good, strong argument. I think that Ripple thinks it has a good case. I think it has a good case. So I think that it's willing to take this case to summary judgment if necessary. Now, I don't think that the Ripple case is going to trial, meaning I don't think there's going to be 6 people in a jury deciding whether XRP is a security or not. I think that the judge is going to make that decision. In litigation, you can either go to a trial because there's an issue that you need a jury to decide, or you can go to a judge because it's just a matter of law. You don't need anyone to make a decision about what facts are applicable. In the next couple months, they're going to take a lot of depositions, do a lot of discovery. They're going to get a lot of people under oath testifying with just a court reporter kind of typing down what they're saying. Then they take those transcripts and they bring them in front of the judge, and they say, look, it is what it is. We don't need you to make any decisions of fact. We just need you to look at this and decide whether XRP is a security or not. And I think that's how this case will eventually get decided if there can't be a settlement. It'll be a summary judgment. That will probably be towards the end of this year, if there's not a settlement that happens before then. So worst case scenario, I think we see something similar to the Kick Interactive case. Best case scenario in October, I think there is a judgment from the court that XRP is not a security, and then everyone celebrates. But I think the most likely scenario is that there's some kind of settlement where the Ripple's not happy about it, the SEC is not happy about it, but the parties agree that it's time to get the case settled and move on. And I think that Ripple will be able to continue doing their business and doing what they're doing with XRP.
Nice, perfect. What about the Wyoming registration? Are you aware of that? What is your opinion about it? Because we are like, we don't know what happened there. Can you explain it?
Sure, and I haven't done a lot of research on it, but I am aware that they incorporated a company in Wyoming now. Wyoming is one of the 50 states. I'm sure you know. It's not really a famous state, but it's a state. So, in America, we have a weird system where we have two kind of separate laws. We have our state laws and we have our federal laws, right? And I don't know if Spain is similar. You might call them different things like prefects or
yeah.
I'm not sure.
We have different things, but more or less the same. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Wyoming, California, Florida, they all have their own laws. Florida has its own laws. So our states can regulate securities and banking and all those things by themselves. California, where I went to law school, is the most famous for it because California kind of thinks of itself as its own country. So they like to have their own, laws, right? So, but Wyoming has very good laws for what Ripple wants to do in the banking industry, apparently. So Ripple incorporated a subsidiary company. I don't know if it's technically a subsidiary, but it's not. Ripple Labs is Ripple, and they incorporated a separate company in Wyoming. The idea, I believe, is that they're going to get involved in banking somehow. I don't know the details, but the reason why they would do that in Wyoming is that Wyoming has very good liberal laws as far as Ripple doing banking or something like that in the state. I don't really think it's not a move of the whole company to Wyoming or anything like that. Ripple is incorporated in Delaware, and all the big companies in America are incorporated in Delaware because it has the best corporate laws on the books, and all the corporate judges are up there. All the corporate attorneys are up in Delaware for some reason. Coca-Cola, all the big companies are all Delaware companies. Ripple is a Delaware company. So we don't see Ripple moving from Delaware to Wyoming yet, but it's just kind of a branch of what they're trying to do is in Wyoming. So I don't think it really affects XRP or Ripple as much as people might think.
Okay, perfect. So that was the last question. Okay, so we can sum up the case. Like we may be like dollar cost average because our opinion is that we can't find the perfect momentum. The channel is Momentum 3.0. So the perfect momentum to purchase XRP maybe today or tomorrow, we don't know. So that may be like a nice idea. We don't advise anything. But
well, I would tell your viewers that there's two dates I keep an eye on.
Yeah.
March 2nd is when the new head of the SEC gets confirmed. Hopefully, it sounds like he's going to be confirmed. That's Gary Gensler. My thoughts are if there's going to be a settlement of a big case like this, it would take place maybe shortly after he's confirmed or maybe in the month after. So from March to April, maybe into May would be a time frame I would watch. If a settlement doesn't occur during that time and there's discovery that they move forward with, I would say then that a settlement's not likely. And the next date I would be watching out for is summary judgment, which would take place probably in October, maybe November, sometime around there after they've completed discovery. So 2 dates to kind of keep an eye out for. as far as some kind of finality of what's going to happen.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we keep taking notes, and yeah, neither your opinion, neither mine is financial advice. So full disclosure, we may talk about things like Corona, which is the new sponsor maybe of your channel, or just the product placement, or what is the situation about Corona there?
It's come down in the last week or two. We've been doing pretty good in Florida. Right now, all my parents are vaccinated. My mom, my dad, they're all vaccinated, so that's good. I don't think we're going to be getting a vaccine until at least April, May, June, maybe even July. But the numbers are coming down. How about Spain? How are you guys doing?
Fine, we are reopening more or less, so that's nice. Also in Latin America, tons of people from Latin America, head to head with Mexico. Like my subscribers are like 35% from Spain, 35% from Mexico. So yeah, different situations. Like in Spain, we locked the whole country, but then in Mexico, for example, they had a green light and a red light, and when the green light, everyone was in the streets and things like that, and then red light was everything closed. So
yeah,
different situations. Like we here in Spain, we have more or less clarity about the vaccine and things like that. And in South America, they have the vaccine, but different approaches. Like in the case of money, like XRP is most likely adopted there in Latin America, because you can go from Mexico to Argentina and you may need dollars. So it is like, why do you need dollars if you are from one country that speaks Spanish close to another that also speaks Spanish? So XRP may be really, really needed there. And I look forward to get deep into those kind of details. And yeah, it may be wonderful to keep talking about it.
Well, we have family in Vietnam, and the difficulty in sending money from here to Vietnam, it's incredible that in this day and age, you would have to spend that much money. It would take that much time to send $1,000 to Vietnam for some reason. It's ridiculous, and that's kind of why everyone that watches your channel is probably interested in XRP, because they realize how antiquated and weird it is that it would take this much time and cost that much money to send $1,000 somewhere, when the Federal Reserve can send $1 trillion to the bank in 2 seconds on the keyboard.
Yeah, so, I tested Western Union, so I really know how painful it is. It is from the 19th century, 20th century, and right now we have better systems, clearly.
Yeah.
To send money, like we send an message through the internet.
Exactly. I think in 10 years, I think my kids will be sending money back and forth with a push of a button on their phone, right?
Yeah.
I hope.
Okay. Perfect. So maybe the Flare community and Flare network will be useful for that, because we also need stable coins. We need smart contracts. You also covered that in your channel. You will have the channel down in the description below, so you can follow him. You can follow Hogan. You also have more people talking about other issues, not just crypto. So you may learn a lot of things about financial world and other issues. He also has about the Reddit issue, like what happened with GameStop and these kind of things. If you want to pump something, you may consult that video. We don't recommend to do that, so
yeah, we'll do.
That may be useful.
Yeah, I'm interested in all that type of stuff. I'm very interested in the XRP situation, mainly because that's the big, I mean, it's the case of, I don't want to say the case of the million, you know, it's a big case. And as this case against Ripple goes, you know, that's how the whole industry, I think, is going to go. So that's why I'm super interested in it. But, you know, I watch other people's channels. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I fall asleep to them at night sometimes. I don't know if you do that. I'm like on my phone, you know, with the phone right here, and I'm like listening to it. I fall asleep.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thanks you for coming here, for coming to my channel. It was a pleasure for me to have you here. Now you are famous among our community. So yeah, it was easy. It was easy to contact you. So if you need something, you know how to contact him. You mail them, and yeah, they are really, really kind. It went perfectly, the conversation. Yeah, if you need any legal advice, you can check his website down in the description below. Okay,
All
so
right,
have a
AJ.
nice day. There
Thank
is
you.
12, 11 o'clock in the morning.
It is 11:30 here, so
11:30.
it's a Friday. It's good for me. So.
Yeah. TGIF. Thank God there is Friday.
Okay, your English is perfect.
Thank you, thank you. Also the swag language, like huddle and things like.
Yeah,
We're
you
trying
got it.
to get into the swag of this kind of.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Espero que hayáis disfrutado. I hope you enjoyed it. Debajo tenéis el link al webinar que voy a hacer para CoinMetro, para entender CoinMetro, y también tenéis Telegram. You can follow us with a translator. So that's nice for you, that's nice for us. See you in the next video. Nos vemos en el próximo video.